Hi, my name is Clara Izal. For those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in the Amish lifestyle, and I left when I was barely 19 years old. I have now lived half my lifetime in the Amish lifestyle and half my lifetime away from it. And some of my friends that I've met in the last year don't even know this about me because I guess it just wasn't a big deal to me and I don't really tell people about it anymore. And I'm kind of okay with that. However, a couple weeks ago I had gone back to Florida to support my sister who has also left the Amish and her children due to the passing of her ex-husband and their father. So for the first time in 20 years, I showed up at an Amish funeral. And it was quite eye-opening for me. Because when I left the Amish, I left for real. Like I left and I moved far away from the community, and for the first year I would go back and visit my parents who still lived in Pennsylvania at the time, and so I would be around it for a short time after I had left, but then eventually I just kind of stopped going out of respect for my parents who are now passed. I just didn't want to come around when it would cause stress to them. I did go visit them with my two children who had never met them before. They've only ever met my mom and dad once in their lifetime. I did take them to visit in 2021 because I knew that my dad was sick and I wanted both my children to meet them at least once. So both my kids met their grandparents once before they both passed away. When I went to visit my sister in Florida, something happened inside of me. And it was like God was telling me to start speaking, to start reaching back and helping women who are where I used to be when I first left the Amish. I feel like I'm a totally different person now, completely reorganized my life, and my Amish lifestyle seems like a far distance away. It feels like it was another lifetime, which I'm glad. I'm happy for that because that's exactly what I worked so hard for. I worked so hard to become my own person, to deprogram my brain and rewire my brain to work for me, not against me, which is, I'm sorry to say, to me, that it feels like that's what the Amish religion had taught me. My upbringing taught me, it wired my brain to work against me, not for me. And I didn't even really plan to say that, but that's exactly what God is telling me to help other women with, to rewire their brain to work for them, not against them. Because I believe we're all created equal. We're all created in the image of God. God created us. We have a brain that we can use. We are not our brain. But God gave us a tool, our brain, so that we can survive and thrive in this life on earth. And I feel like I'm at that point in life where I'm still learning, obviously, and growing, and I will be doing that for the rest of my life. but it is time for me to give back, to teach everything that I have learned that has brought me to this life that I just absolutely love and that I'm so thankful for. And what I experienced at the funeral, I saw my older sisters, 3 of them. I didn't recognize them really. I kind of recognized them, but I hadn't seen them in 20 years. And they were sitting right behind me at the funeral, but I never even spoke with them. Which is just weird. But how do you speak with somebody who believes all kinds of things about you? They made their own assumptions, and they disowned me so long ago. And now here we are, completely, like, I'm living a life that they don't recognize, and they still see me as the Clara 20 years ago. So I said hi to them, but there was no interaction. And then the message at the funeral was directly directed at those of us who had left. Kind of like sitting there and hearing the bishop talk at us and how wrong we are for leaving the Amish, and how those of us who are not following the will of God, whether that is because we dress the way we dress, and some of us are divorced. Like, for example, I am divorced. I divorced my ex-husband of 13 years, and I'm remarried. So in their eyes, there's no hope for me. I committed the ultimate sin, and so we got preached at. And I can handle that. I'm at the point in my life, I get it. I know where they're coming from. So why wouldn't they speak like that? Of course they're going to speak like that, because they truly believe that those of us who commit these sins, in their eyes, these sins are on our way to hell, and they want to save us from hell. So they're going to speak like that to us. I get it. The thing that just broke my heart is, here are children grieving their father. People are grieving the loss of a life, and the bishop is speaking in that manner at the funeral. I don't think that's how Jesus would have spoken to people. There were 2 different messages. One was given by the owner of the store that the father worked at. And this person, I believe, was Mennonite. And his message was very authentic, very connecting, and I felt like you could tell he cared about people. And that, I'm so thankful that I was able to, that we had 2 different messages, not just from the bishop, but also from the other person, which was very comforting. It was comforting. The reason I say that is because that woke me up. That's what woke me up. And I'm like, somebody needs to start speaking. Somebody needs to start reaching the women who are leaving the Amish lifestyle and giving them hope. Giving them hope. Not just religious dogma, but hope. Hope in the fact that they can build a life that works for them. Build a life where they can thrive in, and stop seeking for permission. When you know something is right to do, step into that purpose and go do it. But what happens is, so many of us who are raised in that way, and I was the exact same way, I sought out permission before I would go do the thing that I knew was right for me, that I knew God was telling me to do. But I never felt comfortable doing it until I had permission from somebody else. And that permission holds a lot of people back from the life that they are meant to live. And that's what I am here to do, is to speak life, to give permission if that's what you need. If that's what you need, I'll give you permission. But to speak life into people, especially women, Amish women who are leaving, to speak life into their soul, because it's so desperately needed, because they are not hearing that. The Amish lifestyle does not do women favors. No, it does not. They do not cherish, I'm sorry to say this. Now, there's some Amish men, probably. I know there's some Amish men who are not like this, but mostly Amish men are socialized to be predators of women, not protectors. There's very few Amish men who protect women and children. And that is my biggest grievance towards the Amish, with the Amish lifestyle. If you do not protect women and children, you are not godly. You are not a godly person. If you do not protect the vulnerable, you are not a godly person. And you better check yourself. That is my biggest issue with the way that I grew up. And when women are in that situation, there's no wonder so many Amish women struggle so much with speaking their truth. Because when you're not protected by the people who should protect you, whether that's your father, your husband, your brothers, when you are not protected, and you don't feel like they have your back, you do unspeakable things. You allow things to happen that should never happen. And so going forward, you will be hearing me speak a lot about this, sharing, and I'm still learning. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna go with this, but all I know is it's time. It's time. And this channel is probably gonna get a little bit uncomfortable. I'm gonna be a little bit uncomfortable through this too, because I'm having to remember things that I would rather not remember. But it's all worth it if I can help a handful of women build a life that they love for themselves and their children and their families. I am so thankful, because now my 2 children, I'm in a marriage with my husband who protects me, who values me, cherishes me, takes care of my children as if they were his own. I don't even, like, how am I here? How do I get to live this life? It's all because I chose something different. It's all because I chose to do the work on my mind. That's the only reason why. And that's what I want to help other people with that. I want to speak truth, give you permission. With this, I will say, comes huge responsibility. So knowing all the things I know now, I take, realize that I am responsible to teach these things to my children and to live in such a way that my children will have all the information they need in order to live their best life and make good decisions. Will they do that for the rest of their life? I don't know. But I will do my damn best to provide all of that as the queen of my house. That's my duty. That's my duty. I'm both excited and nervous. if I can be honest, I'm both excited and nervous because I feel like I've hid the fact that I was born and raised Amish from a lot of people, especially the people that I've met in the past couple of years. And I was just going about living my life, living my best life, loving it, learning still, growing, and now it's time to like reach out and help. I keep saying help, and for some reason, I think there's a better word, and I'm not sure. Liberate. Help liberate people? I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'll get the download. God's gonna show me, give me the word. Exactly. What is the name? What is the thing that I'm doing? So that's what we're doing. I heard it loud and clear. It's time to start speaking. And it's time to be transparent and to share all the things I have learned for other women, for those who want to hear. Not everybody's going to want to, and that's fine. But even if it only helps a handful of women, one woman, to save her family from all the trauma and the heartache that happens when we are not connected to our divine power. When a woman is connected to her divine essence, her whole family reaps the benefit of that. And that I know for a fact. So I will just trust that God will help me in every step. And all I will do is show up. That's all I can do is show up. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I needed to put out there today on this Tuesday. It's Tuesday. We had a 4-day weekend. So we got back yesterday from Corpus Christi. And for some reason, all day today, I'm thinking it's Monday. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to go pick up my kids from school, and we're going to go play some pickleball. And so, yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Share with me whatever it is on your heart. If you feel the push to reach out to me, reach out to me. Let's conversate. Let's have a conversation. That's all I'm here for. Conversation, and help liberate women. Teach them how to connect back to themselves and to God, to protect their family and their children.